All right, guys, so your first tip to break 80 is get the ball in play. I don't hit the ball very far, but today it's pretty firm conditions out, so I got a little roll on this one, and it's downwind. But my main concern was avoiding the out of bounds to the right, so I aimed this down the tree line left and just happened to fade it into the fairway here. 92 yards. Downwind. Gonna take a little bit off of a 50-degree. A little thin, but it works. Our second tip to break 80 is if you can putt it, putt it. If your goal is to shoot par or better, then you probably want to learn how to hit real good wedge shots from areas right around the green. But if your goal is to break 80, putt it whenever possible. You don't have to be a superstar. You got some room to make some bogeys. You don't have to get up and down every time. What you have to do is avoid the disaster. So I could hit a little hybrid here or belly a sand wedge, but instead I'm just going to putt it. I can get the putter on it. I should get this within a few feet of the hole. Now trying to chip everyone in. Just trying to make some solid pars. Now, the goal is to break 80. You step up to the #1 handicap hole in the course. Par 4, dogleg right, 379 yards. And you just think you're going to take a driver and get it between the out of bounds and that water. If you're a 12 handicap, 10 handicap, trying to break 80, 14 handicap, why not play the #1 handicap hole as a 3-shot hole? I'll get the flag, but we know this is going to be a layup shot regardless. We got 177 to the flag, front pin. There's a creek that comes in on the left, and it's all down the left side. So it starts to get real narrow at about 120. So we just need to hit something down there, hit a little wedge, and give ourselves a little pitch shot onto the green. Another tip to break 80, at times I see players who are laying up and they try to get a little too close. Like I know this is 120 to the creek. I can only hit this pitch and wedge about 108. So that's going to leave me 12 yards short, even if it's firm. So I'm still okay. I'm just going to take a little easy one anyway. I kept it short of where the creek gets really tight, up a little bit further, and a little 59-yard shot. And again, on the #1 handicap hole, if you're a 10, 12, 14, even a 6 handicap, bogey is not bad on a hole like this. So I'll hit a little 54-degree wedge. So another key to breaking 80 is maintaining your composure. I see players miss putts like that one, 8-footer, 10-footer, and you'd think that they just missed a tap in because they're so upset and so flustered. I mean, an 8-footer is not a tap in. So if you miss an 8-foot putt, there's no need to get upset. Just maintain your composure. You're going to miss some. We're going to play this from the forward tees because there's a lot of sun up there. So 124 into the wind. we have a front pin. So the next key to breaking 80 is going to be the front pins and the middle pins. You generally want to club up, because if you flush it to a front pin or a middle pin, then you still could be on the back of the green with a chance to putt, unless you're playing a green with a severe slope from back to front. So a front pin, let's take an extra club, make sure we get it on the green. I'm gonna hit an 8-iron here. Little cutty. I think it got the pin high. Now on the fringe, I'm generally going to putt it. Anytime I can putt it, I will putt it. And again, if you're just trying to break 80. Normally can get it within a couple feet, unless it's a really long one. Ours are good. I've got a little piece of advice. If you played a hole over and over and you keep hitting it into the creek, you might want to lay up short of that creek. It sounds like silly advice, but I've seen players do it time and time again. Take this hole for instance. It's about 190 to carry that water. Today I can carry it even though it's into a little bit of wind. When you see me play this course in the cold in the wintertime, a lot of times I'll have to lay up. But today, I can go for it. Now, we'll go back to my advice earlier of keeping the ball in play. So we have out of bounds to the right. So I'm going to play this ball near the left side. I'm going to play it down that cart path. Almost hit the cart path. Definitely level here, 136 to that pin, and it's a back pin. So a pin that we don't want to be overly aggressive on. I'll hit an 8-iron, and there really is no wind right now. So that's going to be a safe club going to the back pin. So the next thing to break 80 is when you're playing back pins, you have to be more careful. You can't take an extra club going to back pins. So if we hit this 20 feet, 30 feet short of the hole, it's still okay. Left side, we pulled it, but it's safe. If you can lag putt, especially putts inside of 30 feet, consistently inside a couple feet, at worst 3 feet, you're going to be well on your way to playing better golf. And I think, unless you're a superior ball striker, it's really tough to break 80 if you can't lag putt. Just about that 2-foot range. I'm going to share this advice from a legend. I was playing with a gentleman in a scramble, and he told me a story where he was at a course and he actually hit a shot in front of Jack Nicklaus, and Jack Nicklaus himself looked at him and told him, "Why aren't you using a tee?" And this guy was like a +2 handicap. He played a par 3, he put the ball down, and Jack himself said, always use a tee. So on a par 3, I'm going to say, if it's good enough for Jack, it's definitely good enough for me. All right, 153. I'm going to go 6-iron here. To the left again. Moving a little towards the flag, and I think I broke my tee. So this ball flew just a few yards past pin high. And my goal with that shot was to hit something that I knew if I hit it really well, be on the back of the green. If I mishit it, be on the front of the green. So this is just outside of that 30-foot range to where I want to be able to 2-putt all the time, although this technically wouldn't be a putt because I'm on the fringe. little bit of a misread. Sometimes it's going to be important to have a club that you can just get in the fairway. Say you have out of bounds right, water left, really tight hole that you have confidence in, and maybe not fairway every time, but at least you know you can get it in play between those hazards. For me, that's just high wood. Not the best swing there, but a little cut and back into the fairway. One other thing about breaking 80 is that recognizing that playing golf is a lot different than hitting balls on a driving range. When we go on the golf course, everything isn't going to be set up perfectly. So when we practice, we should practice from different types of lies. Don't just sit the ball up on the driving range, put it down in some bare spots, but just don't always practice under ideal conditions, because on the golf course, you're going to run into some situations where the ball's sitting down in the rough or sitting on burnt out areas. And there's no circle here, so this isn't ground under repair. 129, I'll hit 8 iron. Screen is very, very severely sloped back to front, but it's slow now, so it's not as much of a concern. That worked out. So another thing to break 80 is gonna have to work on the short putts. Now this is a 4-footer, so I'm not expecting to make it every time, but I should be upwards of 75 to 80% from this range here. Looks like it moves a little to the right. I just kind of took the break out of it. So by now you guys might be wondering, why should I listen to this goofball at all? Well, I never claimed to be a really good golfer, but I have shot under par lots of times, and I also shot under par in golf tournaments on 6,800 yard golf courses. So I do know a little bit, but the thing is, I've done this with a crappy homemade swing, steep, rerouting the club, all kinds of things that I do in this horrible golf swing I have. But I found a way to utilize it, even though I'm not athletic, even though I bunt it down the fairway 220 yards. I found a way to still get around the golf course and shoot some decent scores. 332, back pin. Here's a hole where there's no real trouble off the tee. So we can just aim this right down the middle. If we miss a little left or a little right, we're okay. But another piece of advice to break 80, if you do have a shot shape, you want to play it. You don't want to try to work on it during the round. You want to play that shot shape. If you play a cut or if you play a draw or whatever that is, play that. And if you want to fix it on the driving range. .106. So we hit that 226 firm condition, so that's right in our ballpark. So the next piece of advice to break 80 is from 60 to 120 yards. You're going to want to hit the green most of the time, but even more importantly, you're going to want to make par almost all the time, from 60 to 120. So if you can hit, let's say 75% of the greens in that area, but then make par 90, 95% of the time, it's pretty good. 106, we'll go pitch and wedge here. And big part of golf is our miss hits. How bad are our miss hits? I hit that ball pretty badly, but I'm inside 30 feet, so that's inside that area where we want to 2 putt all the time. So another big part of breaking 80 is going to be managing our expectations. So this putt is about 16 feet, goes down the hill, slides a little left, and then goes a little bit back uphill at the end. So it's a slider. It's not a putt that I could really be overly aggressive on. So I'm just going to try to cozy it down there, and if it falls in, it falls in. Sometimes we just have to accept 2 putt par if it doesn't fall. And this time it fell. So kind of a little unlucky break here that this ball kind of hung up on the side here. Have a little abbreviated swing, 126. Ball well above my feet. So this goes back to what I was saying on the other hole about not practicing just all your shots on the driving range from level lies, because you're not going to get this lie on the driving range. So I'm going to have to play this here with the ball well above my feet. We'll choke down and see if we can bunt it up there. So again, we have to manage our expectations again, because anything around the green from here is a good shot. And that's not managing my expectations. I hit a really poor shot there, but I also haven't practiced it, so I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm just going to try to hit the best shot we can hit here. 60 yards. Make a mental note to work on that shot when I can. Roll out. .380. In the fairway. Makes the game a lot easier getting that ball in the short grass. All right, a pin that's there's the left side of the green, in the middle, 166, and I'm gonna hit a 5-iron here. Stuck it in the ground a little, but that's gonna bounce up there. Sometimes being lucky isn't so bad. With this putt, it's a little bit uphill and moves a little bit to the left. So, you know, another tip to break the 80 is sometimes you can be a little more aggressive on putts. And this is one of the putts where I can make sure to make a nice solid swing. It's uphill, right to left. It shouldn't really get away from me. So I can be a little bit more aggressive on this putt. So guys, I didn't miss many greens during this 9, but obviously a huge part to breaking 80 is short game. If you can get up and down a minimum of 40% of the time every round you play, then you're going to be well on your way to breaking 80 if you can keep the ball in play and avoid those big numbers. Another part is bunker play. So from the bunkers, most players struggle from the bunkers that are 10 handicaps or above. So I'll say from those bunkers, if you can get it on the green inside 30 feet to where you're going to get a bogey at worst, then that should be your primary goal. Obviously, we want to improve from there, but that's a starting point. So if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Mr. Short Hitter, out. 5 holes to go, just play 13.